My name is Charles Shipp, and I'm an artist. Vision. Focus. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. I've had a great childhood, but I never really got into athletics and sports and things like a lot of my friends did. I was more of a loner, but around second grade, my parents figured out that I had a little bit of a learning disability. It wasn't anything serious, but I didn't process words. I didn't read quite the same way other people did. It was more of a struggle for me. Contrast. I can't talk about my art without talking about music. It's always been a big part of my life. You know, growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, you can't really escape it. It's in your blood, I think. My granddad, as early as I can remember, he was having me listen to big band swing, you know, Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller and all that stuff. And then my sister was a piano player, and so I'd be sitting on the floor playing, and I'd hear her playing Beethoven and Chopin and Mozart and all that stuff growing up. Around 6th grade, I got my first drum set, and I never looked back. I'll never forget, I guess it was 7th, 8th grade, my buddy Matt came over, and we had a jam session in the attic of my house. I was on drums, he was on guitar, and we had a blast. And before I knew it, we had a band. And by the time we graduated high school, we'd already put out 2 full-length records. Music. Harmony. Detail. That friendship and that bond of us playing music together for 6-8 years is what eventually led to us working together to create the artwork for Ghost Town Blues Band. So Hard Road to Hoe, when Matt called me up and asked to do the artwork for that, I was like, absolutely. The imagery came naturally.
Mama's in the grave, well, her soul's gone to heaven. Yeah, my daddy's on his way, and that's a hard road home.
So the next record was Backstage Pass. It was a little bit of a departure from my typical artwork style, but also as a live record, I feel like it was a departure for the band in a sense as well, so it worked well. I'm very happy with how that artwork came out. And then most recently, working on Shine, this was a great album to work together on. I really enjoyed the challenge that this album presented. I like working with light in my artwork. The idea of shine and to try to capture that on a 2-dimensional plane is difficult, and it was difficult. But I love the idea of trying to capture a sunset. I love the idea of the magnificence of a sunset and trying, I don't think it's possible to capture that, to capture a sunset, to capture the light. And on the other hand, it was easy because the band, Matt, knew exactly what they wanted from this record for this cover. And it was taking me, in a sense, back to my roots as an artist. So it worked well. I started out working with just oil pastels on paper. Since then, I have incorporated some acrylic paints, some other mediums. I've started using reclaimed wood for a lot of my frames. And recently I've started incorporating maps into a lot of my artwork. It sort of takes me back to my love of the land and the landscape and how we interact with our environment. Sometimes I will just take a map and start drawing on it. And eventually that will lead to a piece, or it won't. But I'm very interested in how we interact with the land and the landscape. That's one of the things that captivated me first about the Mississippi Delta region, is because that landscape had such a huge impact on the culture. So if it weren't for that landscape, for that environment, the blues wouldn't exist. To study that, to interact with that, to try to illustrate that in a way that I can, or any other artist can, I think is a challenge, and it's exciting to me. Listen, if you're putting yourself out there, if you are expressing something to the world, whatever that might be, whether it's through art or painting or poetry or photography or music, that's art. If you're putting yourself out there, if you're expressing yourself, and you're trying to create something that you believe to be beautiful, I believe someone else is going to see beauty in that as well. I do feel like 2020 is an opportunity for me to recreate myself and to have a second chance and to really dive headfirst into becoming the artist that I have wanted to be. Adversity can either bring you despair or opportunities, and I think right now the opportunities are endless. At the end of the day, if I can make people think or remember or just smile just a little bit, I think I've done my job. I think that's all I can hope for.